Hi, Mom.
Hi, Miss Shirley.
Happy
Happy
80th
80th birthday.
Nicole had a great idea to put together a video this year.
We're going to be taking you through a journey, and Randy and I have the first 20 years of your life, starting with 1937. Randy's going to start reading some facts, and we're going to go through the 40s and 50s.
Well, in 1937, the Golden Gate Bridge opened, giving Americans a great sense of pride. Oh, the humanity! 1937 was also the year that the Hindenburg exploded. In 1937, Amelia Earhart went missing, and the Great Depression was coming to an end.
The average cost of a new house was $4,100. The average wages per year were $1,780. A gallon of gas was 10 cents. The average cost for renting a house was $26 a month. A loaf of bread was 9 cents, toothpaste 35 cents. A pound of hamburger only cost 12 cents, and the average price for a new car was $760.
Wow. So, also in
The most important thing, Randy.
In 1937, Shirley May was born on Wednesday, April 21st.
And Randy, that was
29,221 days ago.
That doesn't sound so bad now, does it, Miss Shirley?
Love you, Mom. Okay, also in the 40s, well, World War II took up most of that decade. The transistor was invented. That sure led to a lot of things that we enjoy today. Development of radar, commercial television. Also the Slinky, the microwave oven, Velcro, Tupperware, and the Frisbee were all invented in the 40s. Music was swing music, and Frank Sinatra was big. Citizen Kane, The Maltese Falcon, and It's a Wonderful Life were the most popular movies.
I love those shows. In the 1950s, the United States was the most influential economic power in the world after World War II. By the end of the decade, most American households owned a TV set. The polio vaccine was introduced. Rock and roll was born, thanks to Chuck Berry, Elvis, Buddy Holly, James Brown, and many others. The baby boomers arrived, lots of them, about 4 million a year. And these families needed homes. Suburbia was also born in the 50s. First human transplant happened. It was a kidney. The launch of Sputnik started the space race. Top TV shows was I Love Lucy, and the biggest movie was The Lady and the Tramp.
That's what we have for the 40s and 50s.
Wow, I'm very excited to see what Brad and Javier have in store. That's where it ends.
Wonder how bad this is.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday, Shirley.
So it's 1958. You're living in Melbourne or somewhere along the Space Coast, I think, or about to, since you and Jack are about to start a family. Randy Smith comes into this world the following year in 1959. And I believe you're living on Sparkman Street or about to at that time. The 58 Thunderbird, I guess, is happening, and cars have big fins, and there's lots going on in the world at that time. Elvis Presley is a big deal, of course. And then the 60s start, and you're living in a pretty cool place in the US, the Space Coast. A lot going on with NASA and Johnson Space Center. I think Sputnik is launched by the Russians in a year or two, starting the space race, and then the US launches satellites and astronauts into space in the early 60s. Then of course, the Cuban Missile Crisis was happening, and that must have been even more amazing to experience living so close to Cuba there on the Space Coast in Florida.
The Beatles are happening.
Of course, the Beatles.
Who else?
I think the
Elvis.
twist also started about that time, and I remember doing lots of twisting as we got in later on after I was born in 1965. You were living on Sparkman, I believe, when I was born, because I think that's where I was brought home to. And then shortly thereafter, the family moved to West Melbourne. We have lots of great pictures of that time period also. And I think some of my earliest memories, if I can remember, are of West Melbourne, but probably I don't have any memories until the very early 70s, turn of the 70s. You and Fred were married by then and living in the Cocoa Beach area. I certainly remember going to Cocoa a lot, and you working at the Today newspaper. I remember going to work with you once I got old enough. And,
How old were you then?
3-4 years old.
Oh,
And older, I guess. Or probably older, I guess probably more like after 5.
Wow.
I'd go to the Today newspaper with you sometimes and sit at one of the desks and pretend like I was typing. I remember a room full of desks, and all the desks had phones and big old IBM Selectric typewriters, I think they were, and
Wow.
y'all would be taking the calls and typing up those classified ads or whatever, all the different types of ads that y'all worked on. So Cocoa and Melbourne and Indian Harbor Beach, Merritt Island, Cocoa Beach, all that area was fun to live at. I remember you and Fred moving into a pretty cool trailer at some point in the early 70s, and that was still the time of mini skirts and go-go boots, and you had some pretty rad outfits. I remember some purple and maroon mini skirts. Maybe there was some velvet, crushed velvet going on with some white go-go boots. Definitely remember that. I remember when your hair was black before it became red. That was a big move when you went red.
when was that the 60s or 70s?
No, that's the 70s,
70s.
early 70s. 'Cause,
Okay, yeah.
back to the trailer, I remember some fun times in that trailer. We had lots of visitors from New York, maybe Marge and Maddie, maybe some of the Kaufmans coming down and visiting a couple summers. Got a few trips to Disney World out of that, I think. Those were good times. Also have memories, I think one of my earliest memories is of the bicentennial fireworks over the Indian River, I think it's called in Florida. That was fun. And just remember lots of good times and lots of fun living in that area with you. And hope you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday.
Happy birthday, Shirley!
Hi Shirley. In the late 1970s, Jimmy Carter was our president, and Barbra Streisand had the hit song Women in Love. Then in the 1980s, Ronald Reagan was our president, and Cher had the hit song If I Could Turn Back Time. This was an important time in your life, with the birth of Nicole in 1980 and the birth of Kimberly in 1982, making you a grandma, giving you your first G. I hope you have a wonderful birthday, and I give you all of my love.
Hi, Grandma. So from the late 1980s to the late 1990s, we had such hit songs as Groove is in the Heart by D-Light and It's Your Love by Faith Hill. Our presidents during this time were George W. Bush and Bill Clinton. And I have so many fun memories from this time. And I love how close we all were and all the fun things we did. And one of the best memories for me is when you took me and Kimberly with you to the Houston Chronicle Christmas party. We were so excited to get dressed up in our Christmas outfits, matching Christmas outfits, and go to downtown Houston with you to the party. I just remember that being such a fun weekend. Hanging out at the Chronicle, seeing your desk at the front of the building, meeting your coworkers and friends, and celebrating. It was just such a fun time. And happy birthday, Grandma. I'm so happy that we're all celebrating together and celebrating you. Yay for Shirley Fest. Love you, Grandma.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday, Gigi.
Here we are at the 2 most recent decades leading up to your 80th birthday.
Since we are pretty visual people, we decided to make a slideshow of pictures to help explain everything that's been going on. So we're going to start with a short timeline throughout history, and then we'll get into more personal family memories.
Okay, so, which was in the late 90s. Dolly was the first cloned sheep.
Died in 2003. And then we have basically the rise of the internet. Everybody has an email, everybody has a home computer by 2000.
And then, at the same time, we were worried about the drop of Y2K. I believe it had to deal with the internal clocks on most computers and the fear that they wouldn't go past 2000, the year 2000.
Dad had to work that night, I remember. And then we have 2000, George W. Bush is elected. He serves 2 terms. Underneath that, his term, we have 9/11 happens. It's the greatest tragedy since Pearl Harbor on American soil.
After that, we have, waiting for it, and we have the mobile revolution. Everybody starts to have phones. Everybody can be accessed at any time.
In 2008, President Barack Obama was elected. He serves 2 terms, and one of his greatest accomplishments in our life is he helped legalize gay marriage with the help of the Supreme Court, and shortly after, Brad and Javier were married.
And then we end with President Trump being president. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, now that we have business taken care of, we're going to get more personal, and we're going to go through a timeline of photos throughout, Shirley, your past last 2 decades here before 80, for a big day. So we wanted to include a lot of the holiday photos where we got together in the late 90s, early 2000s, before Nicole and I were married or with children. Lots of Thanksgivings.
Look at Javier.
That was right after you got your eye surgery, Grandma. And then we have Katie. Sweet Katie was a great dog for you for a long, long time.
Caleb arrives.
2008, June 16th, Caleb was born, your first grandson, great-grandson, giving you the 2nd G.
That's right.
And I remember the story of telling you, my mom's great idea to tell you that, write you a note and let you know you were a great-grandmother. And it kind of took a while for you to catch on that we were talking about having a great-grandchild. So it was a really cute announcement and memory that we have.
Brad.
And then we have Beverly moving in, and she's been a great friend for so many years for you. I remember when she was driving through the apartment complex and stopped and asked me when I was going to the car and asked how I liked the apartment complex, and I got to tell her about you, and the rest was history.
Then we got married. Our lovely day.
Kim and Rashawn get married. Then we have many more Thanksgivings and Christmases and Mother's Days. This is our last one with Mom. Nicole and Zeke get married October 2nd, 2009. 10, excuse me. Or was it 9? And then unfortunately, we have happy days and we also have sad days, and we mourn the loss of Mom in November. But
life goes on.
We stuck together and relied on each other and made it through and spent more holidays and more birthdays and together and being there for each other. And we roll into more children, more great-grandchildren. This is Kian's baby shower. He was born June 9th, 2012.
A little stint in the NICU.
It was pretty scary. I remember everybody being afraid of holding him, and I'm glad that everybody finally did. He was so tiny.
He was a little guy.
And then soon later, Nicole is pregnant, and we have her baby shower in Austin. Little Troy's on the way, and he is born May 7th, 2013.
Yay, Troy boy.
Big and strong, and I know it was a long delivery for Nicole, and she did a great job.
You hung in there.
Like
It
a
was
trooper.
It was a long pregnancy.
Delivery.
I'm sorry. Sorry, delivery.
And then I just wanted to include some photos of all of us hanging out together and the family, enjoying all the great grandchildren and making new memories at the Willis house. That's been in our family for a long time. And watching the kids grow.
Yeah.
And then pretty soon after, we are introduced to Jana.
That's
For
right.
the first time, I remember, I think it was Guadalajara, Papacitos, a fancy restaurant.
He was Guadalajara. Yeah.
And we got to sit down and finally meet Jana, and I know Dad was so happy and really excited for everybody to meet. And then Brad and Javier got to legally get married in Hawaii right after Brad's birthday, which was really probably a great present. And we wrap up on one of our last holidays together. We're just missing, I think, Javier in that photo, but wanted to say that the past 2 decades have been really cherished because I feel like I've had you more in my life than and had you more around and close by than maybe the other 2 previous decades. So I'm really happy for all of our memories and lunches and all the special moments that we've shared. And thank you for all your support and always being there at all the special moments in Nicole and I's lives. And wanted to say how much we love you and appreciate you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
We love you.
And now a message from your sponsors.
Charlie, hope you enjoy your day. Congratulations.
Wish I could be there.
Wish we could all be there.
This is Rachel, all grown up. This is Matthew. This is Matt. Just in case anyone else, I'm Lord. Happy birthday, Gigi. Hands on. Bye.
Caleb.
Thank you for watching. Take a watch. Yes. It's so fun. Thank you for watching. Gigi, I love you, Gigi.
Kian.
I'm leaving.